Hey Derek, can you hear me? Just check in with you. How about you, Deborah? Can you hear me? I don't think Derek can.
Can hear you loud and clear, Mark.
Well, maybe Derek's just joined early and gone to get himself a coffee.
Agreed, getting a cuppa.
Can you see my screen okay, Deborah?
Yes, see everything great.
Very good. I'm not sure what it's like where you are, Debs, but I think autumn has decided that it's arriving.
It has
The summer's over.
Grey and muggy over here.
Yeah, it's not so much muggy. It's quite cool today up in the Midlands.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little humid down here. Not good for my hair.
Yeah, I have that problem as well.
Have you seen the Christmas stuff in the shops?
I haven't yet, no.
Yeah.
But my daughter is. We have already started talking about, because we've got some Christmas Lego, right? You know, little Christmas buildings like Santa's workshop and the elves' little hangout, and they're lovely. But it's quite a bit of effort as a decoration, right? Because you've got to mainly take it apart and then rebuild it every year. So my daughter's been talking about that. So I think that's going to be our late autumn. But once we get Halloween bonfire done, then I think we're going to start building
then Christmas cracks in, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unofficially for that period, and then it starts. Who we got? Hey, Kevin.
Well,
Kevin, you right?
Yeah, good. Thanks. I've just come out of delivering one demo, so just jumped into this. So.
Oh yeah. Well, in that case, you catch your breath, mate. If you need, we'll get started in a couple of minutes. If you need to grab yourself a coffee, a cup of tea, then go and do that.
Cheers.
Who else we got? We got Annie Proctor. Your camera's on, and that was great because I could actually see who I'm talking to. But you don't have to put it on if you don't want to.
Sorry, I was just finishing choking on my lunch when I joined, so I thought I'd spare you the sound effects.
Yeah, I'm just going to choke in private. Okay, folks, I'm not going to put this on you. Welcome to the call, Annie. Thanks for joining nice and early. What were you munching? What was for lunch or for snack?
Nothing exciting. Just a Tesco meal deal because I'm very naughty and lazy.
But there's such good value, aren't they? I know we're not talking about economics, but I saw something earlier about the cost of living and inflation, and people talking about the cost of food. So, but those meal deals are still good value, aren't they?
Problem is, if you go anywhere else, there's too many naughty things in shop windows and delicious cakes and stuff, and can't take the temptation.
I haven't. I'm doing like a short fast at the moment, so you're teasing me, Annie. Let's move on to Derek before Annie and I fall out. Derek, can you hear me now? Derek was on mute. It's not with us. So, Kim. I think that's Kim. I'm just working out what her name is. Kim, who's that FK that's joined us? Fireflies.ai note taker Kim. I'll have to see what that is, Deborah. Who else we got? Lauren. Hey, Lauren. Welcome to the call.
Hi.
Hey, Lauren. Thank you for joining. Good time and for checking in. No one needs to leave their cameras on, but as a presenter, it really helps me because when I'm talking about something, I'm like, is anyone like this? And you're giving me shaky heads or nuddy heads. It really helps. You don't have to, of course, though, but it is very helpful. Michelle Davies. Hey, Michelle. Welcome to the call.
Hello. I'll put my camera on briefly now so you can see me.
There you go. Well, nice. Hey, nice to actually see you, Michelle. Thank you for checking in.
I will turn it off again, but no,
that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Really pleased. I've been trying to encourage some of my team to come and sign up for these as well.
Okay, great. Well, the more the merrier. Everyone's welcome, Michelle. Let's say hello to a couple more people. Jill, you just popped your camera on. Hey, Jill, welcome to the session.
Thank you. I'll be having my lunch shortly too, so I'll be taking myself off camera.
It's lunchtime, isn't it? Yeah, but tell you what, Jill, once you eat and you all settled down, pop it back on so that I can see the noddy heads and the shaky heads when I'm talking to you. But no one has put their camera on, but it is helpful. Daniel, hey Daniel, over on page 2. Welcome to the session. Daniel looks like he's chilling for lunchtime, but thank you for joining the call. Okay, we're going to start in a second. Jeff Williams.
Afternoon, Mark. Long time no speak.
So in case anyone's wondering, Jeff and I used to work together. It's very nice to see you, Jeff. Thank you for joining the call. Jeff, I'm looking forward to your insights in the chat.
Cool.
On the comments. Okay, let's see. I'm going to whiz through some names. So we've also got Jess, we've got Kristen, we've got Andrew. Let's go back to page 1. Who's over here? So we got Jill, we got Bell, we got Rob, we got Hisham, we got Munim, we got Julie, we got Delia. Delia, your camera's on, but your sliders across. And we've got Fiona, and we said hello to Michelle. Okay, folks, welcome to the session. I'm just going to have one more sip of caffeination. We'll get started. Welcome to Evergreen updates for September. I'm Mark Thompson with the Inform team, and I'll be taking you through these. Is anybody here for the first time? Let me know, just so I know. I'm not going to make you tell me about your favorite color and your pets, but is anyone here for the first time? Okay, so we have got somebody. Okay, cool. So just some recap of some of the rules for new folks. So what we talk about is the update name, some key points, the current release date. We all know on this call that the dates shift and they slide. A couple of supporting screenshots. It's aimed at end users, super users, champions, team site owners, people who are just interested and want to keep up. But what it's not, folks, we just don't have time for a deep dive. You might know that these are fairly fast paced. We maybe have a couple of minutes per topic. So it's not a deep dive in how to use it or what the implications of it. But what would be great, if you do have a question or something catches your eye or you're concerned about something, pop it in the chat. Pop it in the chat, because I'm whizzing through the names on here. There's people here who know lots of stuff. So please put your question in chat. If you think something's terrible or you think it's great, pop that in the chat as well. So, folks, we've got updates for Copilot, OneDrive, Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, and a couple from around 365. I'm looking forward to the SharePoint section. SharePoint's had a lot of love lately. I'm looking forward to that. But, folks, does anybody have any questions or comments before we get started? Okie dokie, let's go. So some chat. Keep an eye on the chat, folks. Chat's always part of these sessions. So you can get a version of these updates anywhere, can't you? What you don't have access to is the people that are on the call and the community that's starting to build up. So you got a question, folks, please ask. Let's start with Copilot. Just a reminder, this is in case you missed it, and you might not have missed it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I need to remind you of one point about this. So GPT-5 came to Copilot, didn't it? So top right-hand corner, you might see this icon here. You click it, and then GPT-5 is on. It resets every time, so you need to put it on every time you want to use it, and it just gives you, it automatically handles it quickly. If it's just a nice, easy question, it goes a little bit deeper. If it's a deeper question that you've asked. We already covered that researcher still has its place. It's a fantastic tool that's like the next level up. But the reason I want to flag this is because it's available for everyone now, whether you've got free Copilot or paid. But look at the access there. So you get standard access if you don't have a Copilot license. So if in your organization, your colleagues have access to the free version of Copilot, so Copilot Chat, make sure they're aware of this, because there's going to be times when they go to do something and it just says it's not available at the moment. I can't do this at the moment. So make sure you're aware of the difference between priority access and standard access, and you'll see this again in a moment. Unlicensed users get access to Copilot Create. Really like this. So where's Create? So it's the Create app down on the left-hand panel once you open Copilot. So let's go into it. Look at this. Right. So we're talking about people who don't have a Copilot license now. But what can they do? They can create images, infographics, posters. Maybe you're posting something in Teams and you want a banner, and it is actually pretty good. I use Copilot a lot when I'm doing presentations on. I'm doing a short series at the moment for government departments, giving people who are coming from Google to M365, and rather than go and search for an icon for Teams or for OneDrive, I just get it to spin it up for me, and it's just brilliant every time. So make sure users are aware of that. But look at this. Here's that standard service level again. If they're using it, make sure your colleagues know about that. And that's already here. So that's available to people, folks. Unified conversations, streamlined chat history view. So the main point I'm going to talk about is interesting, but it's interesting to have a look at this and maybe remind your colleagues about this bit of functionality. So we've gone into Copilot. And then we're going to click on see conversations on the left-hand side. And then what did we see now? So we see a list of our conversations, whether they were grounded So the M365 activities grounded inside our tenant, or Copilot chat type activities grounded on the internet, they're all in the same place now. You see your 5 most recent here. And what I love about this, if you haven't used this already, is that you click on it, and it doesn't just show you the prompt that you use, but the whole conversation. You can revisit it, and it shows you the whole thing. Really, really useful way of reaching back to what you've done. Over on the right hand side, you can see that your chat history is there, and it's surprising how far it goes back. It's really, really, really worth having a look at, making sure you know. Now, whether I did this internally or externally, they're all just piled in together now. But depending on, let's say the second search here, the second prompt here was on the web. If I click it, it will automatically get grounded on the web again. It will automatically flick over there, so I don't need to organize that myself. I think I've done that bit to death. Let's move along. Okay, so that's already arrived. It arrived in August. But while we're here, let's have a look at something else. This is quite new. This ability to filter here. So just a quick hands up. People are using agents at the moment in their workplace. Is anyone actively? I've got a shaky head. We've got a yes from Olivia. We've got a few. We've got Emma Henry. Okay, so great. So if you're looking for a previous prompt that you've done, and you have to wade through a gazillion prompts because you use it all the time, maybe you did this prompt in the M365 update agent. You can filter your previous conversations by that. You imagine if you're looking at something you did maybe a month ago, and you're using this all day long. Some of us use it like multiple times a day, don't we? So I think that's going to be super useful. That's available now as well, folks. Okay. Has anybody had to ask somebody else to create a form for them in Microsoft Forms, or has anyone ever asked you how to do it? Yeah, so again, a noddy head and a shaky head. Okay, so again, a thumbs up. Okay, so if you're somebody who would ask a colleague, I really need help with forms, can you go through this with me? You got a new colleague to ask. So what I did here is that I went to all agents. I did a search for surveys, and now it's going to help me with my survey. So you can see here, it tells you what it can do. I apologize for these next screenshots, folks. They're a little bit fuzzy. You see here that I want to create a customer feedback survey, and it will create it in forms for you. Okay, so it'll help you find your questions, or go through all the questions with you. It will help you launch it, help you send the invitations, and what settings to have for the reminders as well. And it'll help you track progress, and then send more reminders out if you want to. Now, I know, and you may know, that you could previously go into Microsoft Forms. You go into Forms, and then you get help when you're in there. But you know what? You can do it all in the in Copilot Chat, and then push it into Forms this way. So I think that looks quite nice. I think if you got a form, because sometimes I have to get feedback, and you stare at your form, and you know you've done it a million times over the last decade. You get feedback, but you kind of feel like you're starting from scratch each time, don't you? But this will just help you along. Okay, folks, I'm just going to. So Kevin's asking, can that form then sit in a Teams or SharePoint site? So you know what? I don't know where. Straight up, if I'm honest, Kevin, I don't know where it's created by default. I'm guessing you'd have to move it. In my head, what I'm thinking, but without testing it, Kevin, if I had to guess on the behavior, I'd guess it was a me form until I moved it. But if anyone's got any insights to that, folks, please feel free to share. I have broad knowledge of lots of stuff that's new. Cheers, Kev. I have broad knowledge of lots of things that's new. Whereas between you folks, some of you be really into SharePoint. You might use forms all the time. You'll have deeper knowledge on these topics than me. So maybe I don't mind you you sharing more information in the chat. Okay. Researcher, folks. Researcher. Is anybody using Researcher? So we got a couple shaky heads. Emma Henry, I wonder, you don't have to, of course, because no one has to come off mute and talk. But you told me about a previous use that you did for Researcher, and it was the tens of thousands of organizations, and you're trying to find out a smaller amount. Would it be appropriate to share that experience here? Because that's one of the best examples that I know of. Would that be okay?
Yeah, happy to. So the Inform team have recently achieved a Microsoft status called Jumpstart Ready. So it means we can unlock funding for to support our customers on their Copilot journey. I'm very interested in which other Microsoft partners have this status, because obviously there are competitors in this space. However, there's around 32,000 Microsoft partners in the world. Microsoft don't publish a list of who those Jumpstart partners are, so it's kind of up to you to figure out who they are. So I set researcher on the process, and it just blows my mind. So yeah, you can watch it do it. If anybody has used it, you can watch it doing its thing, and you can't tear yourself away, because the sources that it looks at is just amazing. It reasons with itself, it argues with itself. It's just mind-blowing. So yeah, long story short, it managed to consolidate or reduce that list of 32,000 potential partners into a list of around 45 partners, which is what I was aiming for. So it was brilliant.
Thank you very much, folks. Can you imagine how long that would have taken? Right. So I've used it. Somebody wanted an overview of what you can do in Microsoft 365 to look at the stats and the usage and adoption of 365 behind the scenes. And somebody wanted an overview, so I did a quick overview. But actually, I wanted to also give them something where, like, some practical steps to implement the information that you get behind the scenes in the admin center. So I used Researcher for that, and it was astonishing. And you can have a quick too long didn't read the TLDR at the top and all the detail down there. So your homework, folks, is to check out Researcher. Forget about the power that Emma has just described to you. Now, imagine if you could focus that inside your organization. So it might be that Annie, you're thinking, I want to know what my organization is doing for Microsoft 365 adoption, and I want you to look at the usage, look at all the training that's available, all the emails that you see, everything you've got access to internally. And I want you to assess that and tell me what we could do differently. Imagine that power. I mean, this thing takes about 10 minutes. It really is really deep. Imagine being able to focus it just on your internal stuff or just whatever matters to you. Folks, go and check out Researcher. So those sources aren't here yet, but Researcher is. Go and check out Researcher. It's a fabulous tool. But that ability to tell it where to look is coming sometime between now and October. Folks, just before we move along, did anyone else have an example of Researcher in like the 60-second overview of how you've used it or what you use it for? I'm going to take that as a no. It's a great tool. Okay, some quick ones. So those of you who don't know, this icon here tells you that this update is delayed by a period of time. So the new tools feature, I'm looking forward to this in the chat. Has anyone got this yet? This new tools feature where you can, inside the chat box, you can access these tools. Okay, so it's due any time now, right? Real-time voice conversation. I'm looking forward to this. I find myself more and more now clicking in Copilot the microphone icon. But this computer, there's a microphone. You can't see it. There's a microphone just here. And I'll just rather than type in my query, I just talk to it. You know what's coming soon? The ability for it to talk back. You might recognize this. Thinking about in your Android device or your Apple device, you might have Copilot at home, just like the regular consumer version, and you can talk to it. I can't wait for this. You're going to see this icon here, and you can have this conversation. So think about just how useful that would be. Also think about your usability and accessibility or able communities in your organization. So no keyboard, they can just have a conversation with Copilot. And then thinking about referring to not just what's the latest this, but thinking about summarizing documents or accessing emails. What have I got this week? What things have I missed this week? What have people asked me for that I haven't done yet? I just love this, and I can't wait for this from the accessibility point of view. I think that's going to be super powerful. Emma's been chasing that since I first mentioned that months ago. Emma's been after that. I think it's going to be brilliant. Okay, so this icon tells you that it's a little bit further out. So the session persistence enhancement, talking about picking up where you left off. I'll be telling you about this next month, I hope. I have noticed that in the consumer version of Copilot, when I go back to Copilot, I can just pick up from where I was last time. I think that's going to be really useful. Folks, before we go into OneDrive is going to be quick this month. Anyone got any questions or comments or observations about that? Does anything particularly catch your eye? We check in with somebody. Andrew Reynolds, you okay with that content?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Mark.
Very good. Let's go and have a look at OneDrive. Just a quick one. So you might know that you can go to a SharePoint site and you can click on the sync button at the top, and it will sync with your OneDrive. You might also know the horror stories from the past that what happens when somebody does that, and then they go in and they're like, "Oh, I don't need this anymore. I'm going to delete it." Right? So I'm getting a couple of noddy heads. So I was talking to someone over in a government department last week about this, and actually when I previously raised it as well, and someone told me about a 7,000 file deletion. Okay, can you just even saying it? I find myself like juddering even saying it, and I know that there's a couple of things in place now to help with those mass deletions, but if I was in charge of Universe, I would get rid of this button, and it'd be like given to people one by one. Microsoft acknowledge this, and what they're doing, they're demoting it a little bit. So they're not getting rid of it, they're just putting it into the overflow menu, so it's a little bit demoted when you go to SharePoint, in favor of adding the shortcut. I think that's a good move. Been pushed back a little bit, folks, but it should be here anytime now. Okay, let's go straight into Outlook. Another way to include email in Copilot chat prompts. So this is interesting because I already have this. Every Inform team, I have early access to features, and I already have it across Copilot. But about 4 or 5 days ago, maybe a week ago, Microsoft added a note to the message center. So if you read the message center and you read the updates there, you'll see they added a note to this to say this feature will only be accessible from chat inside Outlook, or if you launch Copilot from Outlook. Okay, I need to revisit it, but they added that note at the top, which I thought was interesting. I don't understand why they've done it, but I just want you to make aware of that. If you'd read the previous message, it has changed. Anyway, include email in your Copilot prompts, and you can see here we did a little /, and then you just start. You can just start to type in selecting your emails. So it's going to be available for people with and without Copilot licenses. I think that's interesting. Folks, due mid to late September. So I have it already, and it's just imagine just being able to, I don't know, just you want to just get a summary, or you've got an email and you're like, okay, I want to research everything in my organization I can find about this topic that someone sent it in for me. It's gonna be quite nice. But look out for that little bit of weirdness. That latest that addition that popped up said it's only going to be available if Copilot is launched in Outlook. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Rob said there is a PowerShell to disable the sync button and leaves the shortcut button. Rob, you're my hero. I didn't know that. I'm not a PowerShell person, but that looks amazing. Okay, let's have a couple of quick ones. So just in case you are a mobile user of Outlook, the send button is getting relocated. Apparently, people were sending emails by accident and they've moved it to the top. You know the way the kids use their thumbs to type, right? And I'm a bit of a point typer. But anyway, though, people were catching the send button and sending it by accident, getting moved to the top. Some stuff's getting moved to the bottom. So you can see here that we've got this the conversation actions. So what's great is that you can click on the 3 little dots in the app, and you can rearrange and you can customize these. What you can't do is put it back to the top. But a couple of changes there for you folks. Now, some organizations don't have Teams installed because of their license. They use Teams in the browser, and what's going is the web-based option to share to Teams. So it might be you in Outlook, and it might be that Lauren, you get an email from someone and you want to push that into chat, or you want to push it into a team. So you're going to share to Teams. If you've only got the browser version Teams, that ability is getting retired, and it's going to go somewhere over the next couple of weeks. And Microsoft say it's part of their goal of reducing their maintenance overhead. Okay. You might know a lot of things are going recently, aren't they? It's interesting. There's a shift there. Create and save email templates in a new Outlook. So you might have new Outlook. Is anyone using the new Outlook for Windows at work? Is it anyone's default? Yeah. So very quickly, Lauren, how do you feel about that? So you give me a noddy head. I hope you don't mind me asking. Are you getting on with it okay, or is it?
Yeah, I was reluctant, let's say, to move
along with the rest of the universe. You're not alone there, Lauren.
But I'm getting used to it. Let's say I'm getting used to it.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. Anyway, you get the ability to create and save email templates. It's one of those features, when you're a bit like, how was that? How did they roll this out? That wasn't a thing. Anyway, that is coming. I think we need to get a wriggle on because we are about 45 seconds behind. We're going to whiz through SharePoint, and I'm going to pause for breath and ask for questions. When I say whiz, I'm actually going to slow down a little bit. SharePoint is having a good month. The ability to create SharePoint page sections with AI is coming. So again, I apologize for these images. I'm very grateful that Microsoft will share images in advance before you have a feature, but sometimes they're a bit fuzzy, but you can't complain. I'm grateful that they do it. Okay, so we're adding a section to our SharePoint page, and we've got this option here. We've got the little Copilot sparkle, and we're going to click on there. And now what we're going to say is, create a section about resources and important links for the green team. This section should provide quick access and useful materials, documentation, external references that support sustainability efforts and team initiatives. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so it is a bit fuzzy. I apologize, but look at this. So we've got some content there, some more contents here, but actually we're not happy with this. So we say change the background to an image of a mountain, and also I want the people web part. What about the people who work on this team? And look what we get. So we got our background of the mountain, and we got our web part there. So interesting to me, the ability to choose appropriate web parts and then populate those web parts as well. I think that's going to be quite interesting. There's no way in the universe, for anyone who's used Copilot to create SharePoint PowerPoint slides, you know it's not going to be right first time. But actually, for the heavy lifting, just to give you a bit of inspiration, you know, sometimes you look at a blank page. It might be that Bell, you're at work and you've been asked to create a page about so and so. Sometimes you just kind of stare at it, don't you? And you're like, okay, let me just get my brain into gear. This can be your brain getting into gear. I really like to look at this. So due from now up until mid-October. Slow down even more for this one, folks, because it's going to affect all of our end users. Do you remember me telling you last month about workflows in Microsoft Teams getting a new homepage and a new look and a new interface to simplify them? Does anybody remember that? So you know that we have workflows in Microsoft Teams. They used to be called Automate, didn't it? It used to be the Power Automate tools. I think it was just called Automate, but then it got rebranded workflows. Microsoft say you want that you can create powerful workflows with powerful automations within 3 clicks or 3 steps. That interface is coming to SharePoint. Okay, I think this is important for you to know because this will catch people's eye, the workflows, and because it is a nicer experience, you might see people creating more workflows now. You might also thinking about the fact that the ability to create alerts in the alert system in SharePoint is going away, and the fact that this has come in, I think you're going to see more of this happening. So it's a nice simple interface. This is for lists and document libraries. Also, the automate button is going away. All those things that lived in the automate are going to get swallowed up by the integrate button. So it might be that people come to you and go, "Where's my button gone?" It's all getting absorbed by integrate, folks. Mid-October to mid-November. I like to look at that, but it might be just worth you being aware of. So who's using agents not just for themselves, but for their organizations or their teams? I'm not going to call you out. You don't tell me all about it. Just anyone using an agent. So it might be that Olivia, you have an agent for onboarding, and what you need to do is get this agent connected with the people that you're onboarding. Here's a new way to do it. So we've got a page for onboarding, and we click on agent link here. So we've gone into the little toolbox on the side, and we've found this new web part called agent link. And then over on the right-hand side, we've got all the normal options to configure it. We configure the size, how we want to do, and then we choose our agent. Now, we add it to the page. Look here, you can see that we've got this page here. Ignore what it says on the page. This page is all about onboarding, and we've got here called My Onboarding Agent, and it's right there. So the new person is reading the onboarding page. They click on this. When they click on it, it opens in the right-hand side. So imagine I'm looking at the onboarding. I'll have questions. So I can ask questions of this agent, this Copilot agent, which Olivia set up in the background to look at all of the onboarding materials, or the rules, or the guidance, or the contract stuff, everything to do with your work. So your agent is now where the person is when they need the information. Folks, that should be available to you now. I think that looks brilliant. Anyone got any views on that? Does anyone like the look of that, or is going to investigate it? Get a couple of noddy heads. I think that looks great. I think just connecting the people who want the information with your agents is going to be fantastic. If you haven't checked out agents yet, folks, when you get this call, you get a little bit of quiet time. Why don't you just go into Copilot, create an agent, and actually the basic ones that you just step through. The most basic form would be you give it a name, you point it at this content, and here's some questions that you're going to, here's some prompts that you're going to offer up. Go and check it out, folks. It's a really powerful tool. Anyway, why don't we see what else? What else we got here? So let's just step back. So Rob, the Outlook's been a daily driver for a couple of years. Okie dokie. Only get upset. Yeah, okay, that's good. I'm with you. Watching the AI create accessibility through content. Okay, good. Let's just start wrapping up here. This update is a bit niche because in most of us work in the workplace, we have brand guidelines, don't we? And we can't make too many changes. But this option to make changes to the header and the footer is coming your way. It should be here anytime later SharePoint, although I appreciate a lot of us don't have the option to do that. Now, how about that FAQ? I've been talking about this forever, this FAQ web part on a SharePoint page. You only need a license to create it, not to use it. You can just point it at some documents. It might be that Olivia's still working on the onboarding page, and you've got this SharePoint folder with all the onboarding stuff. You can create an FAQ based on that and have it integrated and added to the page, being pushed back again to November. Remember that Microsoft are retiring the alerts feature. I still can't get over this. I find it so useful. So they've pushed it back a little bit. I've had a bit of pushback. So you can create new alerts until the new year. Now, I might be telling you about this next month. Look at this icon. This is the one where this indicates this is from the 365 roadmap. There's very little detail, but they've indicated that the document library is getting a new user experience, the interface and the way you work with it during November. So hopefully I'll be telling you about this next month. All I can think is don't mess it up. We've got people know how to use document libraries. I don't know what the problem is with them. I just hope they don't mess it up, but we'll see next month. Okay, folks, I'm going to pause for breath. Anybody got any questions or comments about that stuff on SharePoint? Anything catch your eye? Anything you look at it and go, I'm going to go and try this? Anybody horrified by anything? Bob says rules is a good option to replace alerts for basic stuff. Yeah. Anything more complex may need Power Automate. And with you, Rob, I used to work at just 2.5 years with a government organisation that do not let their staff have any Power Automate stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on with that. But the rules would be good. Yeah, I think it's an opportunity. If you look after users in your organisation, I think a session on you used to use alerts here. Here's how you now replicate this in rules. I think that'd be a really popular session. You might just do a handful of lunch and learns, but I think that would go down really well with people because it would make an actual difference. It's not just a nice to know. Some people's alerts are going to break. I think it's worth a look. So Jeff's saying I missed alerts as well. Other options are more powerful, but yeah, I used to love it. That's so easy, weren't they, the alerts? You know, if someone dropped if someone put a new document in, or if someone changed your stuff, you've got your materials. If someone changes your stuff, then you would just know it was good for workflows. But anyway, we are where we are. Okay, folks, should we move along? Last chance to comment and get a couple of noddy heads. Let's go. Let's see what's going on over in Teams. Okay. I don't know whether to love this or hate it. In the chat, I want a thumbs up or a thumbs down for this one while we talk about it. Okay, so private channels in Teams. So you have Microsoft Teams, and then you've got the option to create private channels. These private channels are for people who are in the team, but they have to be explicitly invited into that private channel. You can add as many private channels as you need, up to the 1,000 channels per team limit. So you could have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of private channels, up to 5,000 members per private channel. That's a big old private channel, isn't it? 5,000 people. Now, this is interesting. So you know that because when you create a private channel, even though you add people to it, it gets its own SharePoint site, it doesn't have an M365 group, and there's lots of restrictions that come with that. It's getting the ability to have meetings. So meetings can now be scheduled inside the private channels. If anybody knows the mechanism for that, I don't. I have to look into it. I straight up, I don't understand how they're doing it yet. I need to go back and do a bit more homework on it and work out how they're handling the meetings. If anyone knows the answer to that, feel free to put it in chat. We'd all benefit from that, including me. If anyone knows how they're handling meetings for private channels, please pop that in the and are we getting anything else? Is there anything else? I don't know. Are you going to get the ability to have planner in there and other things? So if anyone can help with that, any expand on that, please do so. So we get a thumbs up from Olivia. Very good. If you're an admin, is anyone any admins on call? Anyone who behind the scenes is a proper M365 admin behind the scenes? Okay, so Rob, it'd be interesting. I've got a couple of thumbs up as well. I'd be interested whether this is useful to you. And I don't manage compliance or policies, and I'm not an admin. But the compliance policies for the private channels are now going to become part of the parent team's group policies. I don't know if that means anything to you, Rob. I don't know if you look at that and think that's a good thing, but that change is coming as well. It's meant to make life a bit easier for admins. Folks, late September to mid-December for your gazillion private channels, a gazillion people in each channel, your meetings with those gazillion people, and maybe an easier life for the admins. Make sure you keep an eye on the chat, please, folks. Just very quickly on this one, meeting search in Teams desktop. It might be that Daniel, you're trying to find a meeting, and you're like, oh, I don't know, I can't remember what date it is, but I know something that was one of the topics that we covered in there, or maybe I knew who came to the meeting. So from inside Teams, you can now just do a search for any aspect of that meeting. So I'm doing a search in here, and I can maybe filter. I can filter the response by meetings to make sure that I'm only looking at the meetings. Once you go into search properly, then you'll see that you'll see that pill as well. This works quite nicely. It's available now, folks. So if you're trying to find a particular meeting, you can do this inside the search bar inside Microsoft Teams. Might be as late September, but I see it everywhere I work. I see that already. So if you're trying to find a meeting you know something about, but you can't remember the details, you can find it there and you can take action on it. Anyone know SQL? Anyone a SQL person or a database person or a language person? I'm going to be real quick then. This looks quite interesting. So we got a couple of thumbs up. Okay, so that search at the top is getting SQL style commands. Now, that last feature that I showed you, that meeting uses this actually, so it's unlocking quite a few things. Okay, so let's look at this. So I want you to, after this session, I want you to have a little play with this. Go to the team search bar at the top. Do is, and don't forget the colon. It's the colon that activates it, and you'll see is messages, is files, and it just helps your speed searching. So you can do from, with, in, is. So maybe take a quick screenshot of that. Just remember that, and if you're like a power user, then that might be of interest to you. Microsoft say it's for developers and power users with very specific search requirements, and you can stack these as well. Folks, we're going to move on because I know it's a little bit niche, but that is available to you right now. We've been waiting for this, haven't we? I'm going to see whether I've got it on here. So we've been waiting. A lot of people have been waiting for this. It is it's the timer for your meetings. I think we've all been on meetings where we have we've had, I don't know, maybe 6 speakers, maybe like a project is given an update and somebody runs over. I used to regularly be part of one of those meetings, and I used to hate it when I was towards the end because I know people would run over and my bit would get squeezed. Anyway, the ability to go into your meeting, you click on the 3 little dots, you launch the timer. Once you launch it and you start it, that dialog box drops away, and then everyone sees the bar. Everyone sees the bar. And what I love is that when the person goes over, they get a little bing to tell them, and also it starts counting down negatively. So look out for that, folks. Maybe later this month into October. The Files tab in Microsoft Teams getting renamed. So I've been talking about this forever, right? So and I do keep bringing it up because I think it's going to be a bit of a shock to our colleagues who don't know it's coming. So you might already be aware that in group chats, the files changed to shared, didn't it? Your files are still in there, but it's a bit more useful, right? This is coming to channels, and I think people are going to come to you and go, they're going to say, Jeff, my files have gone, or they'll be like, Delia, I clicked on this new tab, I didn't add it. I'm a team owner. I own this team. Where's this new tab come from? And then people are going to go in and they go, what is all this stuff across top? You're just going to tell them that, you know what, it's getting a new label and your files are still in here. If you want to ignore all the other stuff, you can, but your files are in there. I think you should let your colleagues know that. It's all good. I can't think of anything bad to say about it, but I think it'll be a bit jarring. Customizing your team's experience. So this changes the accents. This shows you, look at this. This shows you what I'm looking at, what app I've got open at the moment, what's selected. It shows you what's clickable and what's active. Now, an organization I work with, they said, we probably won't get this because we're not allowed to customize stuff. I can't see why any organization will stop this because it's a me setting. And someone else did say, actually, I hope they don't stop it because I've got, forgive me, I can't remember how my colleague said it, but I think they said, like, from an accessibility point of view, they've got some mild accessibility requirements for their vision, and they said that this would be enough for them not to have to use a tool that they use. That would be enough just to show them what is active. So let's assume your organization gets this. I'd flag this to your able networks because some people, this is going to really help just create a bit more contrast on their screen. I think it's going to be great. Popping out your core Teams apps. This has been pushed back again. If you're using the new calendar inside Microsoft Teams, you can already do this. So go and check this out afterwards. Right click on the app icon on the app bar down left hand side for your new calendar. Right click on it and you can pop it out. You can have that totally separate on another screen. Okay. This functionality is coming to all or most of the apps down the side. So you might be trying that now. I think Annie just tested it and I think it worked. Annie, what are you going to say?
Is that what you did? Excited. That's all.
Did you try that?
Did you? My pet hates.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, so there you go, Annie. So it's working. So it's working for the new calendar. I find this, Annie. I quite often find myself going in and out because I'm a Teams first person. I do a lot more work in Teams, and I'm kind of moving around. But then I have to click on something and then go back and then go forward. I'm like, ugh, I just want to pop. I want my Teams there, and I want this app there, and I want my calendar here. So that, folks, that's coming. It's been pushed back a little bit, but you can already do that right now. Everyone gets a new window. Rob, you need to let Skype go, mate. Skype is, I don't care how good Skype was. You need to stop talking about Skype. I don't want to hear Skype or anything about access to databases on these calls ever again. Okay, folks, let's see what else we got. Folks, that's it for Teams. Microsoft Teams. Anyone got any questions or comments or observations? I think that was a good section for Teams and SharePoint, wasn't it? I think Teams and SharePoint are getting some nice little updates. Let's see what's going on around Microsoft 365. Okay, just a quick one. And this is evolving. This came out, what we're going to say now came out as one knowledge article update, but it's kind of been drip fed out. And this is the activity one. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Daniel, you're working with some colleagues on a big document and people are making lots of comments on it, and you've been off for a couple of weeks, and you go in and you look at the comments and there's 25 billion comments, and you're like, what am I supposed to read? Are they for me? Are they resolved? Does it matter? Anyway, next time you open your Word document, take a minute, folks, and just look at these options along the top, because activity is going to tell you, it's going to all the comments that have happened, and it's going to summarize them for you and what's happened since you last looked, and just bring a little bit of just to organize that for you. And if you haven't done this, folks, like the insights, like so it will tell you about the numbers. It might be that Lauren, you're a numbers person, and this big document, you want to pull out the numbers. The insights will do that for you. So next time you go into Word, folks, check out those things across the top. They're getting really useful. Reference an Excel file when using Copilot to create a PowerPoint slide. So you might have read this. If it might be people like Rob who access the admin center. This has been updated recently with a couple of clarifications, because previously it said it was OneDrive only, didn't it? And that didn't make any sense. They've corrected it. Anyway, so create slides that include charts or tables based on your Excel data or whatever from your Excel data. A couple of things. So this is a slide. This is not a PowerPoint presentation. This is a slide. I am in PowerPoint. I'm creating a new slide. And I've said, oh, I want a new slide. And now I can reference only one Excel file. It must be in OneDrive or SharePoint. I think you can probably guess that. That's not a shock, is it? But folks, that's due late November to mid-December. So I labeled it a little bit. It's a quick update, but just in case you previously read the old version, it has been updated. I think that looks great. Being able to, it might be that Laura in the numbers, who's now the numbers person, is doing a presentation, and you can just pull in some charts based on data. You just straight in. I think that's going to be quite interesting. Does everyone use Clipchamp? Get a shaky head. Okay, so we've got a thumbs up from Olivia. Yeah, so you know what? So outside of work, I prefer Camtasia, but you know what? As an included tool, I think it's brilliant. You could, especially if you've got a meeting where, say, something's happened in the middle and you want to chop out that bit of the meeting that you're recording, or just some basic screen stuff. So it's a really nice video creation and editing tool that's bundled with Microsoft 365. Anyway, it's getting a new Hub Start page. Your users might be warned about this. You can see they're getting this new and improved homepage. Folks, I'm not the world's most creative person, but this just looks to me like a load of 5-year-olds have been doing finger painting, and it looks like the sort of thing that my daughter's come home with, and I have to keep it on the fridge for 4 years out of guilt because she created it for me. It's a bit colourful. I don't know what you guys think. Some of you might love it. I just think it's a bit colourful and it's a bit lively for work. But anyway, that's coming your way. If anyone asks you what on earth has happened to Paint, that's what is happening to it. So no changes in the existing functionality or workflows. You know that Stream and Clipchamp go to the same place now. That isn't changing, but that change is coming along, folks, and everyone will have that by the end of the month. A couple of quick ones. If you're a Loop user, you're getting user accessible recycle bin for your Loop workspaces. Bit of a lead on that one. It should be here by March next year. Okay, just remind you of this icon. This is further out. There's not a lot of detail about it, but in Microsoft Edge, so I'm using Copilot Chat in Edge, and you can tell it to look at your open, so whatever documents you've got open that are from OneDrive and SharePoint. So you could have 3 or 4 things open. It might be that Jill, you've opened a couple of things that you're researching, or Daniel, that big Word document that we were talking about earlier. So the stuff that is open, you could tell it just to look at your open stuff. I think that's really interesting. Hopefully I'll be telling you about this next month. That date is obviously not right. They're often not right from the 365 roadmap, but I think that's going to be really interesting. OneNote for Windows, end of support. So if you've got OneNote for Windows 10, I can't imagine many people have, but if you're still rocking that old version of OneNote, it'll become read-only on the 14th of October. So if you've got some old school OneNote users in your organization, you might want to be aware of that. Okay, folks, before we go ahead, any questions or comments? I think the pop-out looks very popular. Okay, why don't we see, while I just have a proper read of some of those comments, why don't you tell us what you like from today? So I'm just going to choose one. So let's see what people's favorites are. Who can I pick on? Jeff, help me out. Any comments or notes in the in the chat that I need to be aware of? Worth looking. Anything catch your eye, Jeff, in the chat?
I don't think there's any questions as such, Mark, but lots of comments. Obviously, you mentioned the pop-out thing. I think that's really popular, and I think generally SharePoint has had lots of love in the last few months as well. So.
Yeah, SharePoint. Yeah, I really like those SharePoint things. If you use agents, and I know some people are getting a bit of Copilot fatigue, aren't they? Because it's just a bombardment, isn't it? It's really exciting, but it's hard to keep up. If you use agents, I think being able to hook up it might be that you're working on the XYZ project. Julie Musprat, you might be working on the XYZ project. You've created an agent for the XYZ project that looks at all the locations where the XYZ project documentation is, and you've got a page to introduce it. What a great way for people just about to ask questions. Imagine like people are not having to come to you asking questions. People who are new to your project, how good would it be to be able to just go to the introduction to the XYZ project, and there's the agent down the side. You've used SharePoint to create the FAQ. Oh, it's just those two changes are going to be great. Okay, so let's see what people like. Unlicensed users getting access to Copilot Create, 17%. Private channels and meetings getting those increased limits, 22%. I didn't know whether you'd love that or hate it. I think that is going down quite well. That's dropped to 19%. The unlicensed access to Copilot is now back up to 19%. So we've got a draw at the moment, folks. So if you can vote more than once, if you feel strongly about the unlicensed access to Copilot Create, or you feel strongly about the private channel change, you need to get voting because it is currently a draw. And I think that is where it's going to sit. And the countdown timer. So Bilal, the countdown timer, I know that we talked about it on a previous month. That's why it's not included in the voting. But I think it's going to be brilliant. How many of us are looking forward to that one, where you got multiple presenters and you know that person, they always run over. And it doesn't matter how much you nudge them and how much you encourage them. Okay, folks. I think we have come towards the end of our time together this month. Hopefully that was helpful to you, and hopefully we'll see you again next month. Look out for the follow-up email, and you can watch it again, maybe a little bit slower if you want to, over on YouTube. We'll share it there. We'll make sure that you're aware. We run these every month, and you're very welcome. Folks, I want to thank you for coming along. I know it's lunchtime and you've got eating to do, but also for those of you who are able to come off mute or put your cameras on or in the chat, but I'm grateful for you just coming along. Folks, I think we're done. Anyone got any closing questions before we go? Let's get out of here. Thank you very much. I'll see you all next month.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers,
Mark. Everybody. You're very welcome, folks.